There's our discriminant information again real quick. If you have a positive discriminant, a parabola will cross the x-axis in two places. This isn't on your sheet, just showing you stuff. If the discriminant is 0, the parabola only crosses the x-axis at one place, at the vertex. And if you have a negative discriminant, that parabola never crossed the x-axis at all because it got shifted up or shifted down. So, consider the graph below, which you have. Is the discriminant positive, negative, or 0? It's all about how many places he crosses the x-axis. Doesn't he cross two places? So what kind of discriminant do we have? Positive. My bad, that goes up here. So he was positive. How many real solutions will there be then? Well, you could see them. How many real solutions are there? There are two real solutions. Solve the equation. Okay, I can tell you what x equals. X equals, what's the x value right there? Well, that puppy crossed the x-axis, -2. Or the solutions are where the puppy crosses the x-axis at. So my math lab should ask you stuff like that. Those will be the simple questions. Let's make a sketch of this graph right here. So the height above ground of a ball thrown up, 64 feet per second, gives us this formula. Let's put him in our graphing calculator and make a nice, neat sketch of him. That's not what I wanted to do. So we get him in our graphing calculator. Let me tell you some basics. This is your y-intercept right here. 80 is your y-intercept. This parabola is going to open down, but it's a ball thrown. So since my y-intercept is 80, that's how high the ball is when it starts. And it's like, where's it going to be when it finishes? Let's change our window. Let's go. First, let me zoom 6 real quick. Get all that nasty stuff out of there. Now let's change our window. X minimum, you can just leave them at -10 if you want to. The X maximum, let's leave them at 10 also. It shouldn't take more than 10 seconds for a ball to hit the ground. Right? You throw a ball, 10 seconds is a long time. So let's see what that is. It's your Y max. You've got to go above 80 because doesn't it start at 80 feet high? So let's go up to 200 and just see what that looks like. Scale, I'll go by, I don't know, 20s. I don't know, just seeing. Oops, I didn't change my X min. So this is, did I type it in right? 80 minus, oh, it's got to be plus 64. That shouldn't be right. There we go. All right, so here's my sketch. Nah. I'm going to take not dashed information, go. You could use an actual ruler on top of your tablet if you had a ruler out. You can use the line tools if you want to, which take way too much time in my opinion. Like I would hand out straight edges if we were doing a lot of stuff and actually have to use a straight edge, but this is just a sketch. It said accurate though, so here's what I'll do for right now. And then I'm going to, these questions that we answer, I'm going to go back and put them in the sketch as we answer them. It says, how long will the ball be in the air? Well, check it out. Didn't it go from here? It's in the air, 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 in the air. No longer in the air because it hit the ground right there, correct? Let's figure out where it hit the ground right there. That is an x-intercept, right? It's a root or a 0. So if we go to second calculate, it's been a while. If you find your x-intercepts, that is option 2 on your graphing calculator. And then you have to do the left bound and the right bound. What that means is please move your cursor somewhere to the left of that x-intercept. So the x-intercept is right where my arrow is. This is to the left of it, to the right of it. Come down a ways, guess, and it'll tell me at 50. So I'm going to put that on my sketch. That's why it's called an accurate sketch, 50. How long was it in the air then? What does that mean to us? 5, go back, read label, seconds. So far, so good? When was the ball 128 feet off the ground? Is 128 an x value or a y value? The y value, correct? Well, the way we taught you a long time ago was put 128 in for y and solve for x. We'd have to use quadratic formula. We have a graphing calculator. Go back to y equals. We have this graph up here. Don't we also want to know when y equals 128? Is that the right number? 128. So type in y equals 128, and it will graph a horizontal line at 128, and it will show you how many places this ball was 128 feet off the ground. Didn't it happen twice? It happened here, and it happened here. What will I need to calculate to figure this out? Intersection. So let's do this to save time. You front row boys right here, please calculate this intersection place. And the rest of you, please calculate this intersection place. How do you do it again? Second, calculate. Option 5. They're asking you to select the curves. So it says first curve, just hit enter. Second curve, just hit enter. And then move your cursor to whichever one you want to try to find, whichever is closer. So the guy on the left was at 128, and I'm going to actually sketch that on my deal right now. This is y equals 128. And here's that place. It was at 128. This is our accurate sketch. And where did you guys get the other one at? 128? Agree with that? So it says, when will the ball be 128 feet off the ground? We need the x values. Those are our seconds. So when did it happen? At 1 second and 3 seconds. How come it happened twice? Because what happened here? Wasn't the ball still going up at that point? It started 80 feet high, went up, got here, kept going up, came back down. It reached 128 feet high again on the way down. When will the ball be at 1.5 seconds? Are we okay? When is that 1.5 seconds? Go to second, calculate. If they give you an x value, all you have to do is choose option 1, value, and type in 1.5, and it'll tell you at 140 feet. You also could have just hit trace 1.5, and it'll do the same thing for you, right? If you just hit the trace button and hit 1.5. So 140 seconds. Don't need to put that on the graph. What's the maximum height of the ball? Calculate the maximum. Left bound, right bound. Yes. At 144. Don't forget, some calculators can't be accurate enough, so that's really at 145. So that's 144. It was 144 feet. And when did it occur? 2 seconds. Yeah? Oh, awesome. Last one. Total revenue for French door refrigerators is given by this. R is revenue. That's how much money you make, right? How much they make. The cost is how much they spend. Here's the equation for that. They say for both functions, input x is the number of refrigerators produced and sold. Form a profit function. How do you make profit? If revenue is how much you make and cost is how much you spend, your profit is what? How does profit relate to the money that comes in versus the money that you spend? Like, watch this. Let's say I made $100 revenue and I spent 20 bucks. What's my profit? $80. How did you get that? Profit equals what? I made 100 and spent 20. How did you get 80? Revenue minus cost. These type of problems aren't going away. This profit, revenue, cost. They're trying to introduce that to you because it's new to you, right? Profit is the money you make, which is called revenue, minus your cost. So wouldn't profit equal revenue is 550x? Everyone cool with revenue being 550x? Then I got to subtract away the entire cost function, so I need to make that a quantity because I'm subtracting the whole thing. And that means you really should distribute this negative through. So you've got your profit is 550x minus 10,000 minus 30x minus x squared. Then you can combine your like terms and put it in standard form at the same time if you want to. You have negative x squared, done with him. 550x minus 30x, isn't that a positive 520x? Am I right about that? And then you have negative 10,000. That's all they wanted for part A. Cool? Part B, what is the profit? Profit means please use your profit function. Isn't this our profit function? If 18 refrigerators are sold. 18 is refrigerators. Isn't that x? So please put 18 in for x in parentheses. All right, just put 18 in there. So you got negative 18 squared plus 520. I'll let you punch it. I'm just showing you what to punch. What did you get? Go ahead and tell me. It might seem to freak you out, but what did you get? Negative 964. Is that what you're getting? People are like, hey, man, it's a negative number. How can that happen? You can totally have a negative profit. They call it something else when you have a negative profit. What do they call that? That's a loss. It's a loss of $964. Don't say a loss of negative 964. The word loss indicates that that is a negative number. Okay? So they lost $964. That just means they need to sell some more refrigerators, man. You know, they haven't sold enough yet. What is the profit when 32 refrigerators are sold? So you put 32 in there. $7,424. Is that what you got? Or did maybe I punched it in wrong? I could make this 32. Let me do that again. It's negative, help me out, 32 squared. All right. Then what do I got? Plus 520 times 32. Am I punching this in right? Minus 10,000. Did I punch that in right? Sorry, 5616. Well, excuse my mistake. Good deal. Last question. That's the one that's going to stump us. How many refrigerators must be sold to break even on this product? First of all, tell me what that means to you. If you break even, how much was your profit if you break even? $0. But that means you got to put 0 in for P, baby. All right, here's our equation. We got to put 0 in for P. What you could do is you could try to factor this if you wanted to. You could try to complete the square. You could try the quadratic formula, or you could punch this in your graphing calculator and let it do all the work for you. What would you like to do? I think you want to punch that in. If you do the quadratic formula, that'll work also, but help me out because it's all covered up. It's negative x squared plus 520x minus 10,000. Is that right? Yep. The worst part about this, though, is you got to find the right window because you can't calculate things if they're not in the window. So let's see if we can figure this out. Didn't we have a loss at 18 refrigerators and we had a profit at 32 refrigerators, correct? So somewhere between 18 and 32 on the x-axis is where it will cross it because we had a negative number here, we had a positive number here. So if I go to my window, my x-axis has to go probably up to, let's just go to 32, right? You know at 32 you had a profit, correct? And at 18 you had a loss. I don't really care about how high it goes because we don't care about finding the max. We care about finding the x-intercept. So let's just graph this guy and see what it looks like. Can I see where that puppy crosses the x-axis at? Let's calculate the x-intercept. Second, calculate option 2. I need to go left bound, so I got to find my cursor. Got negative 9. How do you find your cursor? A lot of people are like, I don't know where my cursor's at. Look at where your x value is right here. My x value of my cursor is at negative 8. So I need to get it way over here, so I need to move to the right. And it'll start to show up here eventually. My cursor was in the 8 region. Where you at, buddy? Okay, it's not showing up. What's going wrong? I have found my cursor. I need to go to the left of it. So I am to the left of it. I'll hit enter. I need to go to the right of it. I will hit enter and calculate. 20, 0. Do you think that was factorable? Yes or no?